I'm going to get to your complimentary plays here in just a moment. But listen, those of you watching today, you're obviously college football fans, just like myself. You know, one of the things I like doing when I'm driving across country, which I'm en route right now, is to stop at various college campuses I never got to visit as a reporter or in my previous trips as I've driven across this country of ours. So, and listen, one of the reasons I do it is I went to Temple University, and when I went to it, it was a dump. It was in North Philadelphia when North Philadelphia was really a dump. It's gotten much better over the years, but listen, it was still an inner city school and it was a dump. So getting to visit other college campuses, it's always a cool thing. And over the years, I've found some that have been tremendously surprising. Auburn University, just beautiful. I mean, the Plains, just beautiful. The campus itself, the surrounding area, Baylor University. I mean, Waco, but once you get to the campus, it's just really a great place. The McLean Stadium, just a gorgeous place. Others have been disappointments. I always wanted to see Tuscaloosa and Alabama. It was just another place. But yesterday, happened to be driving through Oklahoma. I saw the sign, Norman. It was just like a 5-minute detour. So I thought, I got to go see University of Oklahoma. Never been there before. What a stunning place. I mean, a cool little college town, but the campus was just so cool. And of course, when you drive through the campus, you know, you get there and there's the stadium where I've watched so many games on TV, never had been there before. Just what a magnificent campus, everything else. So I don't know, just wanted to pass that on to you. That's one of the things that I like doing. And I can't tell you how many dozens and dozens of college campuses I've toured all through the country during my various visits. But Oklahoma, thumbs up. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays here. One game that I like here today on the late afternoon card, Central Florida and Georgia Tech. Central Florida is a 7.5-point favorite in this one. Of course, Central Florida is playing its first game here this afternoon with Georgia Tech, a team that I used last weekend, and I went against them at Florida State, and Georgia Tech did rally and win that game. But as I often look at teams in their next game out, one of the questions I ask myself is, in this particular case, did Georgia Tech win that game, or did Florida State lose that game? And I tend to believe the latter is the case. Georgia Tech did play well. I will certainly give you that, especially the freshman quarterback, Jeff Sims, who was lights out in his debut. But Florida State really played miserably. And I look in that particular contest and I look at Jeff Sims, who, again, 24 for 35, 277 yards, 13 carries, 64 rushes, and on third down, 5 for 7, 48 yards, 1 interception. But the offense really cranked for Georgia Tech with 437 yards. But this Central Florida defense, I think he's going to have a little more problems against, because it is a veteran defense that comes back. And the thing that you have to look at Central Florida as opposed to the Florida State defense that Georgia Tech played a week ago and what Sims is going to face here today. UCF plays a very tight man coverage defense. And last year, they were tied for third in the nation in terms of pass defense, in terms of breaking up or intercepting 1 out of every 5.6 passes attempted. And opponents' completion percentage, opposing quarterbacks, only completed 52.4% of their passes. That was tied for 8th in the country. Now, Florida State, 61.1% completion percentage last year. And in terms of breaking up or intercepting opponents' passes, their number was 8.5 versus 5.6 for Central Florida. So what does that all mean in terms of what you're going to see on the field? That I think Central Florida is going to take away a lot of those short to middle range passes that Sims was able to get against Florida State's softer coverage. And that's going to make the chains harder to move today for the Tech offense. Now, the Tech defense is also going to be challenged by the fast-paced Central Florida offense, as you know. And it's got a great trigger man in sophomore quarterback Dylan Gabriel. Of course, took the job last year as a freshman, threw for over 3,600 yards, 29 touchdowns. Central Florida lost a lot of talent at running back, but it has a bevy of talented running backs coming back. A very deep backfield with 4 rotating backs you're probably going to see out here today. This is a Central Florida team that just constantly reloads, 22-4 straight up run. You probably have read numerous places that 10 players opted out because of COVID-19 concerns. Only 2 of them, however, were starters or projected starters. So I think Central Florida is the play here. Now, here's one thing that you have to be concerned and why I didn't use Central Florida as my best bet today. This Central Florida team scores so quickly. Their time of possession last year, one of the worst in all of FBS teams, only 26 minutes. So what that means is its defense is subject to be on the field a hell of a lot, and it often gets gassed. And that's why often you see Central Florida jumps out to the big leads in the first half and then succumbs and allows other teams to sneak in the back door in the second half. So that is problematic. So do I like Central Florida? Yes. Would I buy down the half point at 7.5? Absolutely. It's a strong play, but it has a little bit of a wart on it, and that's why I relegated it to a complimentary selection. Another play I like today is Western Kentucky, minus the 14 at home today against Liberty. Now, Western Kentucky got its ass kicked last week against Louisville. Everybody thought Western Kentucky was a great play in that contest. I didn't see why. I thought Louisville was head and shoulders better. Louisville has a very good quarterback. That's the bottom line. And that quarterback was the difference last week, as Mikael Cunningham absolutely tore up that veteran Western Kentucky defense that wasn't up to the task, shredded them through the air. I don't think that's going to be a problem today against Liberty. You know, Liberty last year was a team that absolutely scored at will, 32 points a game. But Stephen Calvert is not their quarterback anymore. They're going with Malik Willis, who is a transfer from Auburn. The last game he started was as a senior in the Georgia State title game at Roswell High School, I think it was, and the Class 7A championship in 2016. I mean, he only threw 13 passes in his 2 years at Auburn. Now, he is a dual-threat quarterback. It's the opener for Liberty. They don't have a lot of talent back, and their defense was pathetic a year ago. So I think this is a good spot to take Western Kentucky because they are not going against a good team like Louisville a week ago. They're not going to find themselves down 28-7 at halftime. They're not going to have to abandon the running game like they did a week ago. They're not going to be outgained 487 yards to 248 like they were a week ago. Again, I think Western Kentucky now will come out and establish the run with their top running back Walker, who last year ran for over 1,200 yards. Last week, he had 9 carries for 19 yards because they had to abandon the run early because they found themselves down by double digits at halftime. So I think also that in this game that you're going to find that this Western Kentucky defense that was one of the best in Conference USA last year and has a great defensive tackle or defensive end in D'Angelo Malone, who had 11.5 sacks last year and had 8 tackles, a sack, and 3.5 tackles for a loss last week against Louisville. He's going to really be troublesome for a Liberty offensive line that has new starters back. So I have no qualms with laying the 14 points in that early game with Western Kentucky. And of the 2 free selections, I think Western Kentucky is the better of the 2 plays. As for me, my best bet, of course, last Saturday it was Army. Another raise the bar 20-dime release. Number 3 in a row last night, the Cubs. Today, the early play, it's Tulane and Navy. You get it as the half-price play of the day, and all the other discount codes and coupons are over on the homepage. I wish you well, guys, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.